In the eerie silence of space, where stars glitter like scattered diamonds against the void, the hidden moon of Saturn held secrets darker than its shadowed craters. Commander James Ford stood rigid, his gaze fixed on the holographic screens that floated before him like ghosts. Each flicker of light from the displays cast sharp angles across his weather-worn face, reflecting a storm of emotions ranging from fierce determination to the haunting fear of discovery. Today, his secret, the stealth space station Luna Echo, risked exposure due to a simple, yet catastrophic, technological failure. Ford's hands clenched behind his back as he watched the cloaking device's indicators flutter like a dying heartbeat. This device, the silent protector of Earth's hidden arsenal and last resort, faltered, and with it, the safety of an entire planet. His crew, a cadre of the best minds and bravest souls Earth could offer, mirrored his tension, their bodies taut, ready to respond to his commands. They were family, bound not by blood but by the shared burden of guarding humanity's undisclosed strength. The station itself was a marvel of human ingenuity, built into the rugged terrain of Saturn's unnoticed moon. From the outside, it resembled nothing more than another barren rock orbiting the gas giant, its true nature visible only to those who knew where to look. Inside, it thrummed with life, humming with the energy of hidden reactors and the quiet steps of its inhabitants. Panels of starlight simulation lined the corridors, softening the harsh reality of their isolation with the illusion of an open sky. "Report," Ford's voice cut through the murmur of anxious technicians, sharp as the break of dawn. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Alina, approached, her expression grim. "The cloak isn't responding to our commands, sir. We're visible to any passers-by with a scanner. It's like we're shining a beacon in the dark," she reported, her voice steady despite the news. Ford's jaw tightened. Visibility was a luxury they couldn't afford in the vast chess game of galactic politics. If the wrong eyes caught sight of Luna Echo now, Earth's facade as a technologically barren planet would crumble, inviting threats they were unprepared to face openly. "Keep trying to reset the system. I'll be in the command wing. Alert me the moment we have any incoming crafts. We need to be ready for anything," he ordered, turning on his heel and striding toward the heart of the station. His mind raced through scenarios, each more dire than the last. This was the day he had prepared for, yet wished would never come. As he walked, the station's walls spoke in quiet beeps and the distant hum of machinery, a symphony of secrecy that now played its most dangerous tune. Outside, the cosmos awaited, indifferent to the plight of the beings within the hidden moon, their lives suspended by a thread as thin as the failing cloak that kept their world unseen. Ford reached the command wing, a vast room bathed in the glow of tactical displays and the soft light of Saturn peering through the reinforced glass. His heart beat a steady rhythm of war drums as he faced his crew, their eyes on him, waiting for a leader to guide them through the storm. The weight of impending conflict bore down on him, a reminder of the gravity of their mission. Here, in the silence of space, they stood as Earth's unseen guardians, their lives dedicated to a cause greater than themselves. As he prepared to address them, Ford felt the resolve harden within him, the resolve to protect, to fight, and if necessary, to reveal the might of Earth's hidden fleet. The story had just begun. The vastness of space seldom felt claustrophobic, yet within the confines of the Galactic Invaders flagship, the air seemed to buzz with a menacing charge as if the vacuum itself had intentions. Warlord Staler stood at the helm, his towering form silhouetted against the backdrop of stars streaking past as the fleet made its warp-speed journey. His eyes, gleaming with the ferocity of a predator, were fixed on the holographic map that painted a glowing image of Saturn and its moons, a speckled cluster of opportunities and, hidden among them, Earth's unsuspecting lunar sentinel, Luna Echo. "Report," Staler commanded, his voice booming through the command center, compelling immediate attention. A scurry of activity followed as his subordinates hastened to provide updates. "Sir, the recon drone has confirmed the location. The Earth outpost, previously hidden, is now visible. Its defenses appear formidable but not invincible," relayed an officer, his voice a mix of excitement and apprehension. Staler's lips curled into a smirk, the thrill of conquest pulsating through his veins. "Assemble the strike teams. Prepare the armada. We strike at the heart of their secrecy. Today, Earth will learn the cost of hiding from the galaxy's rightful rulers." Back on Luna Echo, the situation was grave. Commander Ford paced before the main viewing window of the command center, watching the flicker of distant stars. The malfunctioning cloak weighed heavily on his mind, a ghost in the machine that could herald the end of Earth's silent vigil. Beside him, Lieutenant Alina monitored incoming data streams, her fingers dancing over the lit panels with practiced urgency. "Any progress on the cloak?" Ford asked, turning to Alina, his brow furrowed with concern. We've managed to stabilize the primary circuits, but full functionality is still offline. It's like something out there is jamming us intentionally, Alina replied, her tone suggesting she believed in the likelihood of sabotage. Ford nodded solemnly, considering their options. Keep at it, and begin preparations for a defensive engagement. I want all hands on deck, combat ready. If they come, we'll make sure it's not an easy fight. The station buzzed with activity as the crew mobilized. Engineers worked feverishly to restore the cloak, while soldiers checked and rechecked their weapons, the air thick with the smell of oil and determination. Every corridor and chamber within Luna Echo transformed into a hive of strategic preparation, echoing with the sounds of readiness. As the hours passed, the inevitability of confrontation grew clearer. Staeler's fleet, a leviathan of war, emerged from the warp near Saturn, its presence an ominous shadow cast across the celestial bodies orbiting the gas giant. The scale of the armada was immense, a floating fortress of firepower and ferocity, poised to unleash its wrath. Ford watched the approaching blips on the radar, each representing the advancing might of an empire that knew no mercy. He stood firm, his resolve a bastion against the coming storm. Turning to his crew, he delivered a rallying speech, his voice echoing through the command center. We stand on the brink, not just to defend our home, but to affirm our right to exist among the stars as equals, not subjects. This station, this moon, and the Earth beyond, it's all worth fighting for. Let's show them what we're made of. Cheers filled the room, a chorus of defiance and unity. The crew of Luna Echo was ready, each member steeled for the battle ahead, their spirits unbroken despite the odds. Outside, the cold expanse of space became a canvas for the imminent clash of civilizations. Earth's hidden fleet, powered by the brilliance and bravery of its people, stood ready to challenge the Galactic Invaders, their resolve as unyielding as the metal of the ships they manned. The dance of destiny awaited, and at its heart, the unspoken question, would Earth's secrecy be its salvation or its undoing? The stage was set, and the galaxy watched, breathless. As the first glimmer of dawn stretched across the cosmos, the silence of space was shattered by the ominous hum of Staeler's advancing armada. Warlord Staeler, ensconced within the armored sanctum of his command ship, surveyed the tactical displays with predatory anticipation. His fleet, an imposing array of battleships, each bristling with weaponry capable of laying waste to planets, moved into formation around Saturn's hidden moon. The air inside the flagship was electric, charged with the promise of conquest and the allure of undiscovered spoils. On Luna Echo, Commander Ford and his crew braced for the inevitable. The command center, usually a hub of disciplined activity, had transformed into the heart of Earth's desperate defense. Screens flickered with trajectories and targeting data as Ford coordinated his fleet's positions, his voice a calm anchor in the storm of war. Alina, status report on the cloak, Ford demanded, his eyes never leaving the strategic map. It's still down, sir, but we've managed to activate partial shielding. It won't hide us, but it should scatter their targeting sensors, Alina replied, her fingers flying over the controls, adjusting the defenses in real time. Good, every second counts. Relay to all units, hold fire until my command. We need to draw them in close, Ford instructed, a daring plan forming in his mind. Above the moon, the first of Staeler's ships breached the perimeter. The massive cruiser, like a dark titan of old, loomed large against the backdrop of Saturn's swirling storms. Its cannons, glowing with the heat of charged particles, aimed directly at the heart of Luna Echo. Inside the cruiser's bridge, Staeler watched with satisfaction. Begin the assault. Let none survive, he ordered, his voice devoid of emotion, his mind already picturing victory. The space around Luna Echo erupted in violence as beams of concentrated energy lanced towards the station. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers, casting brief light on the desperation below. Ford's voice cut through the chaos, commanding and precise. All ships, engage at will. Target their flanks. Make them scatter. Earth's hidden fleet, smaller but agile and equipped with advanced countermeasures, responded with disciplined fury. The battle became a deadly dance as both fleets maneuvered for advantage. Ships darted through debris fields, using chunks of ice and rock as cover, their weapons discharging in brilliant arcs of destructive beauty. Amidst this ballet of destruction, Ford coordinated the defense with a veteran's eye, exploiting every opportunity. Delta Squadron, feint towards their left wing. Bravo, hit and run on my mark, now. His commands were punctuated by the reports of successful strikes and the devastating losses of his own fleet. Meanwhile, on the flagship, Staeler's frustration mounted. His initial confidence wavered as the Earth fleet, significantly smaller, displayed tactics that bewildered his commanders. Increase firepower. I want that station obliterated, he barked, unwilling to concede any ground. Back on Luna Echo, Alina monitored the escalating battle, her screen a storm of alerts. Commander, their main cruiser is moving into a direct assault position. It's heavily armored, but its flanks are exposed. Ford nodded, a plan taking shape amidst the peril. Prepare the ion disruptors. Target that cruiser. We may only get one shot at this. As the cruiser positioned itself for a killing blow, Luna Echo's defenses powered up, channeling every available joule of energy into a desperate gamble. The air in the command center was thick with tension, every crew member holding their breath as Ford waited for the perfect moment. Now, Alina. Fire. The disruptors unleashed their fury, a torrent of ionized energy that surged through space and struck the cruiser with unerring accuracy. The behemoth ship shuddered under the impact, its shields flickering and failing as critical systems overloaded. A cheer erupted from Luna Echo's crew, a brief respite in the relentless pressure. Staler, witnessing the sudden vulnerability of his flagship, felt a rare flicker of doubt. The battle was far from over, but the Earthlings had proven themselves formidable opponents. As debris from the damaged cruiser spiraled into the void, Ford allowed himself a moment of grim satisfaction. They had survived the first wave, but the warlord's resolve would only harden. Now, more than ever, Earth's hidden defenders needed to be ready for what came next. The galaxy might have underestimated Earth, but Ford knew the cost of such battles. They were not just fighting for survival, but for their right to exist freely among the stars. As the remnants of Staler's damaged cruiser spiraled into the void, an uneasy silence enveloped Luna Echo. The victory, though significant, was a mere respite in the relentless siege. Commander Ford stood before the panoramic viewport, his eyes scanning the debris field, a graveyard of aspirations and metal. His mind, however, was elsewhere, pierced by the gnawing suspicion that the day's events were not merely a result of chance. The breach of their cloaking technology was too coincidental, too opportune for Staler's forces. Alina, gather the senior staff. We need to reassess our security protocols and review all communication logs. There's a leak somewhere, Ford ordered, his voice tinged with the stress of betrayal. In the dimly lit briefing room, the air was thick with tension. Ford's trusted officers assembled, each aware that the trust they shared was under scrutiny. As they pored over logs and data, a disturbing pattern emerged. Anomalies in the communication array, subtle yet unmistakable, suggested that someone within had been sending covert signals to the invaders. Could be a hacked signal relay, or worse, an insider, murmured Lieutenant Walker, his brow furrowed as he dissected the data streams. Ford nodded, his gaze steely. Lock down the communications wing. No one in or out without my clearance. We'll root this treachery out from the shadows. Meanwhile, aboard Staler's flagship, the warlord raged at the setback. His usual composure shattered by the unexpected resilience of Earth's hidden defenders. He slammed a fist against the metal console, the sound echoing through the bridge like a war drum. Enhance our efforts. Deploy more scouts. I want every rock around Saturn scanned and cataloged. They have more secrets, and we will unearth them all, Staler commanded, his voice a dark promise to his crew. Back on Luna Echo, the investigation into the betrayal was making headway. Security footage, meticulously reviewed, revealed a chilling sight: a technician named David, previously commendable for his diligence, accessing the communications terminal during the unauthorized hours. Confronted with the evidence, David's composure cracked under Ford's unwavering gaze. I had no choice. They have my family, Commander. They threatened to kill them if I didn't help, he confessed, despair washing over his features. Ford's heart hardened at the betrayal, yet he couldn't ignore the desperation in David's voice, a weapon just as sharp as any used by Staler. Secure him in the brig. We'll deal with this later. Right now, we need to focus on the imminent threat, Ford decided, the weight of command heavy on his shoulders. The breach sowed seeds of mistrust within Luna Echo, a shadow that crept through the corridors, as silent as the vacuum outside. Despite the turmoil, Ford rallied his crew, addressing them with a resolve forged in the fire of adversity. Today, we face betrayal from within, a stark reminder that our enemy is relentless. But let this not break us. Let it bind us closer, steel our resolve, for the fight is far from over. As night enveloped Saturn, a new wave of enemy ships approached, their silhouettes stark against the planet's luminous rings. The crew of Luna Echo, battle-weary but unbroken, prepared to defend their outpost. The station's cannons charged, casting eerie shadows over the faces of those ready to fire. Positions, everyone. This ends tonight, Ford declared, his voice cutting through the tension like a beacon. The ensuing battle was a melange of light and chaos. Staeler's forces, emboldened by the sin of perceived weakness, advanced with ruthless precision. But Luna Echo was no easy prey. Each officer, each crew member fought back with a ferocity born of desperation and unity. As the battle raged, Ford's mind was never far from the betrayal that had cost them dearly. The war was more than a physical confrontation. It was a fight for the soul of humanity, a battle against the darkness both outside and within. And as the stars bore witness to the conflagration below, Luna Echo stood defiant, a beacon of human spirit and resilience amidst the vast, indifferent cosmos. The story continued, each explosion of verse in the epic struggle for survival and sovereignty. Amidst the staccato of laser fire and the relentless assault of Staeler's armada, Luna Echo stood resilient, a bastion of Earth's silent resolve. The outer hull bore the scars of battle, each mark a testament to the ferocity of the conflict. Commander Ford, standing at the command console, surveyed the chaos with a steely gaze. His mind was a tempest of strategy and resolve, every decision weighed against the potential cost in lives and the very future of Earth. Alina, bring up the tactical overlay. I need real-time updates on all sectors, Ford commanded, his voice a calm amid the storm of alerts and status reports flooding the console. The tactical overlay flickered to life, showing the swarm of enemy ships encircling the moon. Each icon was a harbinger of destruction, but amidst the dire predictions, a pattern emerged, a potential path to victory, narrow and fraught with peril. Sir, we have a weak point in their formation here, Alina pointed out, her finger tracing a segment of the hologram where the enemy ships were spread thin. If we could muster a strike team to hit that flank. Ford nodded, his brain ticking through the implications. Prepare the ion cannons and reroute all available power to the shields. We'll need every bit of defense we can muster. Launch Squadron Delta on my mark. Outside, the void of space danced with the light of battle. Ships darted back and forth, weaving patterns of death and defiance. Squadron Delta, comprised of the station's most agile fighters, awaited Ford's command, their pilots tense and ready. Delta Squadron, you are green for launch. Hit them hard and fast, and make it back. We are all counting on you. Ford's voice was the last thing they heard before the silence of space enveloped them. The small group of fighters burst forth from Luna Echo, engines flaring as they shot towards the weak point in Staeler's formation. The enemy, caught off guard by the sudden and precise strike, scrambled to reposition their defenses. Back on the flagship, Staeler watched the unfolding battle with growing frustration. His eyes, usually cold and calculating, burned with fury as he witnessed the tenacity of Earth's defenders. Bring the dreadnought forward. Crush them with one fell swoop, he ordered, his voice a growl of impatience. As the massive dreadnought moved into position, its shadow fell over Luna Echo, a dark omen of the destructive power at Staeler's command. The ship was a behemoth, bristling with enough firepower to obliterate the moon base in one concerted attack. Ford watched the dreadnoughts approach, understanding the stakes. All hands, brace for impact. This is going to be close, he announced, his voice steady, projecting confidence he barely felt. The first salvo from the dreadnought was a spectacle of destructive efficiency. Energy beams, thick as trees, slammed into Luna Echo's shields. Each hit a hammer blow against the station's defenses. The shields flickered under the onslaught, the energy grid straining to dissipate the tremendous power. Inside, the crew of Luna Echo held their breath, the station shaking around them as if it might at any moment succumb to the fury unleashed upon it. Yet, amid the chaos, there was a surge of defiant hope. Alina, monitoring the shield status, shouted over the din, shields at 20%, but we've got a window. The dreadnought's recharging its cannons. We have a moment before the next volley. Ford seized the opportunity. Target their main cannon. Full power to forward weapons. This is our shot. Luna Echo, battered but unbroken, directed its remaining energy to a desperate counterattack. The forward cannons, glowing hot with stored power, unleashed a concentrated beam directly at the dreadnought's main weapon port. The impact was blinding, a brilliant flash that lit the space around them like a newborn star. The dreadnought's main cannon, hit squarely, erupted in a catastrophic explosion that rippled through the ship, tearing it apart from within. A cheer erupted from Luna Echo's crew, a sound of triumph so fierce it seemed to shake the very walls of the station. Staeler, witnessing the destruction of his flagship's centerpiece, felt a chill of dread. Earth was not the primitive outpost he had believed. It was a hidden fortress, a sleeping giant now fully awakened. As the debris from the dreadnought drifted like the ashes of a vanquished storm, Ford allowed himself a moment of grim satisfaction. The battle was far from over, but the tide had turned. Earth would not go quietly into the night. They would stand, fight, and prevail. The story of Luna Echo was a testament to the courage and ingenuity of Earth's defenders, a beacon of hope that burned fiercely against the dark tapestry of space. As the debris of the shattered dreadnought drifted silently through the cosmos, a palpable sense of relief mixed with the lingering smoke of battle aboard Luna Echo. Commander James Ford stood at the command center, overlooking the remnants of Staler's once formidable armada now retreating into the dark recesses of space. The victory was hard-earned, the cost visible in the weary eyes of his crew and the damage wrought upon their moon station. "Damage report," Ford called out, his voice echoing slightly in the now calm command center. Lieutenant Alina, her face lit by the soft glow of her console, turned to Ford with a report. "Shields are down to 15%, sir. Several sections are on emergency power, but life support is stable. We've held the line." Ford nodded solemnly, his gaze lingering on the star-studded blackness outside. This battle, though a victory, was a stark reminder of Earth's vulnerability and its hidden strength. "Begin repairs immediately. I want a full assessment of all systems. We need to be ready for any future threats," he instructed, his mind already turning to the next challenge. As the crew busied themselves with recovery operations, Ford took a moment to broadcast a message to Earth's global command, informing them of the victory and the need for vigilance. The battle for Luna Echo was over, but the war for Earth's place in the galaxy had just begun. Meanwhile, on Staler's flagship, the mood was grim. The warlord himself stood before the panoramic window of his bridge, staring out at the chaos his overconfidence had wrought. His fleet was in disarray, his plans in ruins. The loss of the dreadnought, a symbol of his might, stung bitterly. With clenched fists, Staler made a silent vow. Earth would pay for this defiance. But first, he needed to regroup and reassess. The Earthlings were no longer the primitive outliers he had presumed. They were a formidable opponent. Back at Luna Echo, Ford convened a meeting with his senior staff in the briefing room, now partially lit by emergency lights. The walls, lined with maps and screens flickering with residual static, gave the room a bunker-like feel, a stark contrast to the usual pristine operation. "We've shown the galaxy that Earth is not to be underestimated. But this fight has brought us into the spotlight. We must prepare, not just to defend, but to negotiate our place as equals among the star-faring civilizations," Ford addressed his team, his voice imbued with a mix of pride and foreboding. As they discussed the future, a new message arrived from Earth Command, congratulating them on their defense and confirming an upcoming summit of galactic powers. Earth would send delegates to negotiate peace and mutual recognition. The battle had opened a door, and now diplomacy would have to carry them through it. In the following days, Luna Echo was a hive of activity. Repairs were underway, and preparations for the diplomatic mission became the new focus. Amidst the whirl of activity, Ford found a quiet moment to visit the station's memorial wall, where the names of those lost in the battle were inscribed. Touching the engraved names gently, Ford reflected on the cost of their hidden war. Each name was a promise, a debt he intended to honor by securing not just peace but a future where such sacrifices were no longer necessary. As Earth's delegation departed for the summit, Ford watched the spacecraft disappear into the vast expanse. This was no longer just a fight for survival, but a quest for a rightful place among the stars. Earth's journey had changed, and so had he. When the news of the successful negotiations reached Luna Echo, the station erupted in celebration. The treaty was signed, recognizing Earth's sovereignty and its role in galactic affairs. A new era dawned, one of promise and potential. Standing once again before the viewport, Ford felt the weight of his responsibility. The universe was vast, and their place in it was now secure, but the journey was just beginning. The story of Luna Echo, of Earth's hidden fleet, was a testament to human courage and ingenuity. From the shadows of secrecy to the light of recognition, they had emerged not just unscathed but unbroken.